Welcome to the Farming Without the Bank podcast, the show with a no BS approach to money, hosted by a farm strategy expert and authorized IBC practitioner. Join us as we get real and expose the flaws of traditional financial institutions in order to help farmers take control of their finances, create peace of mind, grow their wealth, and leave a legacy. Now, here's your host, Mary Jo Irmen.
Hello, and welcome back to the podcast. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you for leaving a 5-star review. Wink, wink, and for sharing. I appreciate it all. Oh my gosh, you guys, you're awesome. Okay, we today are going to talk about using life insurance as collateral at the bank. And I don't think I have touched on this topic, but I did get this question and I do get it often. And so if I have done this before, I guess you guys get to hear it again, but I don't know that I have. There is a lot of non-infinite banking stuff being done with life insurance. And there are people out there that are just constantly trying to make it one thing better. Oh, we can just do one more thing with it and just make it one better. And so this is one of those things. Oh, just go use your life insurance as collateral to a bank loan. Okay. Now, here's the deal with that. If you use your life insurance as collateral, well, first of all, the reason people are doing this is because they can go to the bank and the bank loves to use life insurance as collateral because why? Guaranteed you're going to die. So guaranteed they're going to get their money. They basically presume not ownership, but they presume all the control of the policy at that point. And so if you pass away, they get first dibs to the death benefit to take care of any money that you owe them. So let's say that you have $1 million policy, but you only need $500,000 from the bank. Well, they're going to get the first 500. Here's the other thing. You're doing this so that you can get a better rate at the bank, right? That's usually why people do it, because I can get a better interest rate at the bank. But you give up control. And so why are we doing infinite banking? Liquidity, control, and guarantees. And I know my very good listeners knew the answer to that before I even opened my mouth. Liquidity, control, and guarantees. If you use your policy, the bank now has stopped liquidity of that policy. You can't access it whenever you want. Most banks will say, nope, you cannot access it because you could drain it to the point where we don't have enough death benefit to cover the loan we've covered. You lost control of that policy because now they can tell you you can't take the money, right? Why would we do that? I don't understand why we would. I mean, I understand why people do, because they're going to say, well, I can use that death benefit as collateral to purchasing land or purchasing apartments or purchasing real estate or whatever it is they're doing. I can use that policy as collateral because I don't have another piece of property to use. Okay. If y'all didn't catch it, it's called farming without the bank, right? Or life without the bank. So in case you didn't catch that, it's without the bank, not with the bank and keeping their control. We don't need to worry about interest rates alone. And Nelson talks about this in his book, and I did a chapter review on this very thing. Low interest rates come at a cost. Everything comes at a cost. And what is your cost to have a low interest rate at the bank, borrowing from the bank? What's the cost? The control of your policy, the liquidity of your policy if you're going to put that up as collateral. So many people want to sit back and go, well, interest rates are so low right now. that why would I even use the policy? Oh, I hear this all the time. Interest rates are so low. Why would I use the policy? Well, you're going to ask that question if you don't understand infinite banking. You're going to ask that question if you've not read the books and you haven't paid attention to what's being said. Who cares if you have to pay a higher interest rate if you have the liquidity and control of that money? Who cares? Because if you borrow it from the life insurance company, you put your death benefit as collateral anyway. But without question, when you do it at the bank, you had to go fill out a whole bunch of paperwork to get that loan and use your policy as collateral. To me, it makes sense why people do it, but I wouldn't do it because I'm a control freak. I want control of that money. I want liquidity. I don't want to have to put the bank's name on it. I have had a client that did this, and then he forgot to take the bank's name off of it. As soon as the loan was paid off, the bank didn't have to be on there anymore. So he went to get a loan. Guess what? Can't give you a loan. Bank's name's on the policy. So then he had to go to the bank and get the name taken off the policy, which then took some time to get his money. But once it's paid off, we have to ask for them to sign off on control. And we all know banks can be a little bit shady. So what if they would say, no, I'm not signing off on it? Because you owe me money for X, Y, and Z, which wasn't collateral. The policy wasn't collateral for it, but now we're going to make it collateral for it. What are you going to do? They don't have to sign it. You just handed over all this control to them. I would not ever do that. Ever. There is not a low enough interest rate that would matter for me to do that. There are real estate investors doing it because they can buy a house to create cash flow to do it. And they justify it by saying, well, I'm going to add one more property and create cash flow faster, and I'm going to create more wealth. But you gave up control as well. And so what is more important, the wealth or the control? To me, it's the control, because that property is tied to my life insurance policy. So I really don't have control of the property or the policy at that point, do I? It's like people taking land that's paid for and they use it as collateral to a new piece of land so they can expand. But now we put both pieces of land at risk. If something happens, both pieces of land are at risk. I get it. I understand that there might be a time and a place for that. But if we are doing that, from what I've seen, from the people that I've worked with, we are doing that to get bigger and bigger, faster and faster, to the point where if something unravels, we are so screwed. We are not going to get out of it. And we all have to go back to Nelson's book and remember what led us to the infinite banking concept. Nelson biting off a little bit more than he can chew, and interest rates going to 23% overnight. He was living his best life, and overnight it changed. And from that point forward, he was very cautious about what he did. Now, we can listen to our elders and learn from them or not. And one of my kids said to me over the weekend, do as I say, not as I do. Because I yelled at them for something I did. The same thing. And that's exactly right. That is exactly right. You can say, you know what, you're being a hypocrite. Am I? Or am I saying, please learn from our mistakes. Please learn from our mishaps. I love talking to older people because there are things they have done in their life that we can learn from. We don't need to make all those same mistakes. Nelson had the history to share with us to say, don't make these mistakes. Don't bite off more than you can chew. Do it in a manner where you are going to have control. So if you do bite off more than you can chew, you don't lose in the end. Control. But instead, we put land up for other land. We put our policy up as collateral to the bank. And here's the other thing. The bank sells life insurance to guarantee loans. It's credit life or whatever it's called. If all of you think life insurance is so bad, then please tell me why the banks want life insurance as collateral. Why do they think it's so amazing? because they are either going to get the death benefit when you die, or they're going to finally get the lien on your property after your estate is closed. Which one do you think is going to come to them faster? I would say the life insurance policy, because it's not going to have to go through anything to close. The check will be sent. It is great collateral to anybody that's lending you money. Great collateral. Heck, if you're the one lending somebody else money, you can have insurance on them. It's fantastic collateral. We're all going to pass away. Nobody gets out alive. But when we are looking at using it and giving up control, I don't understand why. I don't know that there would be an opportunity big enough for me to say, yeah, and then I'll just give up control of that and it'll all work out. Pretty sure I'll just bet on faith. I got nothing against faith, but I'm not going to bet on it. If you're not planning for worst case scenario, you're going to get caught with your pants down. And nobody wants to see that. So if you're hearing people talk about this, think about what you could lose in the end, because we don't want to lose anything. That's not the point of what we're doing here. It's without the bank. Okay, folks, if you have questions, comments, concerns, let me know, maryjo@withoutthebank.com. I would be happy to visit with you to answer any questions. If you have not gotten the book Farming Without the Bank, please do so. You can grab Nelson's book as well. And then after you're done reading it, you can schedule an appointment. This is a fantastic time to schedule an appointment just because my calendar is not super booked out. I am assuming I am going to get super duper busy and you guys are going to have to wait weeks to get in to see me again. And so if you can get in now and squeeze in, now is the time to do it. So let me know if there's anything I can do to help. Otherwise, you have a absolutely fantastic rest of your week and I'll talk to you next week.
Thanks for listening to the Farming Without the Bank podcast. We hope today's episode has inspired you to take control of your finances in new ways. Don't forget to check out our website, farmingwithoutthebank.com, and engage with us on our Facebook page, Farming Without the Bank. Join us next week as we smash more financial myths and empower you to accomplish your financial goals.